have serious problems, especially in a terrain like Nigeria, like Africa, where it is your whole money. You are not getting any loan, you are not getting any support. It's usually funds that you source from personal relationships. So you do not really have the leverages that people in maybe first world countries have, where if you have a great idea, you can get funding from the government, you can get grants from the government. So you don't have the financing to set up certain structures. So yes, indeed, there are weak structures, there's poor financial design, and there is lack of resilience planning. When a business fails to plan for um, the business, when issues actually come, the business will not be able to stand the test of time. It will collapse. So, like I said before, the challenge is even more pronounced in Africa, and that's because there's economic volatility. So, what do I mean? Today the naira is X amount against the dollar, and tomorrow you will see that the value of the naira drops. So, what that means for the average small business is that they will tell you, because dollar has gone high against the naira, for prices have also skyrocketed. That will affect the cost of transportation. That will affect the cost of power. So if, for example, a business was spending 100,000 naira to do something, what's that thing talking? You guys in the technical team need to organize yourself. I'm hearing something talking back. Technical guys, are we live? Okay, but what's that thing talking back? Is it the live stream? What? Yeah, because that talk back is affecting my thinking. All right. So, okay, so I was talking about economic volatility, all right? And I said that because, you know, sometimes the naira just goes boom, and they say, oh, praise God, it's 1,800 against the dollar. And unfortunately, sometimes even when the value becomes better, it doesn't even affect the reality of things. So transport is still high, the value of producing goods is still high, nothing really changes. Okay, so in such a situation, you really need to plan for resilience. In a place like Africa, there are infrastructure gaps. Number one, bad roads. So you see that you send, for those of you who do food business, those of you who do, he does trade. So what he does is that he moves from community to community, buying grains, corn, soya beans, ginger, all of those cash crops and food crops. He buys them and he has to transport maybe from one community that is about 120 kilometers to another community that is about maybe 300 kilometers from him. So a lot of movement is required for his kind of business. And so he has to keep moving and moving goods and moving goods. Now, what happens when the road is bad? Delayed delivery. Meaning that if he was supposed to get somewhere at 6 p.m. today, because of the bad road, the driver at 9 p.m. will still be on the road. And that is risk. He can be robbed. He can be kidnapped. He can be killed. And if they decide that, oh, because we're very careful in this company, we're not going to allow you drive at night, what happens? Hotel cost, extra feeding. So a lot of unpredictable scenarios. And that is why a business that is setting up in Africa has to plan for resilience. The next is policy uncertainty. Many of you who have been following the African stories in recent years have seen a lot of coups, a lot of instability in government. Today, we have a new government, and the interesting thing about most of our governments is that when a new government takes over, they do not want to continue the policy of the previous government. So there is no continuity. And so when a new government takes over, they want to change everything entirely. Who remembers a few years ago they said we were changing the naira notes? Do you know what that did to businesses? How did you just change currency? So they were changing currency. We saw a gray 1,000 naira notes or blue 1,000 naira notes, and later they said they couldn't continue. But imagine that there were businesses then who were trying to change their notes. Do you know many of them could have even sold, maybe those who were holding naira or holding cash for maybe whatever reason, they may just sell a lot of things at discounted rate just to have access to the new notes. So these kinds of policies affect businesses. And so that's why if you must be invested in Africa, particularly a volatile region like Nigeria, you must plan for uncertainties. Let me, Josh, please come. You must plan for uncertainties. So, like we stated before, businesses don't fail when they lack effort. Some businesses fail when there are no clear structures. Okay. So, yeah, some businesses don't fail when they lack efforts. They fail structure. You hear people tell you, I'm an atheist. I had someone one day, I asked him, what do you believe in? He said, nothing. We're having dinner, one of my colleagues, and he said, nothing. I said, nothing. I just use my common sense. So, the average, but this person is not African. He just believes that if you use your common sense, things will work for you. So, we need to do better with our structures. We need to do better with operational flows. It will take time to put these things together, and that's what most of us are aims to do it. What will happen is that eventually it will be easy to run the system. Okay, designing resilient business models. Underline the word resilient. Okay, designing resilient business models. A business model answers one critical question: how will my business create? Number one, creation. The business, those of you who are thinking about different amazing ideas or who are already implementing those amazing ideas, you need to ask first if you are starting afresh, or two, if you are maybe scaling or really want to have like a renovation of things or reinventing. You need to ask yourself or re-ask yourself, how will my business create? Number one. Number two, how will my business deliver? And number three, how will my business capture? There's a creation, there is a delivery, there is a capturing of one word, value. And another word, consistently. So how will you create value? How will you deliver value? How will you capture value consistently? That's why I say consistently. How can you continue to do this consistently? You must be able to survive shocks. A resilient business model adapts to change. A resilient business model can sustain profitability over time. Of course, there are times when you make losses, no doubt. People made so much losses in COVID-19, but they came out of it. But guess what? There were many businesses that did not come out of it. So, how do you sustain profitability over time? There are certain core components that you must start to look at as someone who wants to build or rebuild a resilient business model. Number one is your customer segments. Number two, your revenue streams. Number three, your cost structure. Number four, your channels. Number five, your key resources and activities. Now, your customer segment, the key question you must ask yourself as you build a business is, who am I serving? You must sit down with your team, your board, your team of managers and ask yourself this important question: who am I serving? Note that your business cannot serve everybody. As a matter of fact, if you build a business and you say, I want to serve the whole of Africa, see, what you have built is overly ambitious and very unrealistic. You cannot serve the whole of Africa. Oh, I want to serve all ages. You cannot serve infants, serve children, serve adults, serve male, serve female well. You will be serving a particular group better than you're serving the others. So you must ask yourself, if you want to build a strong business where you are seen to be a force, then you must ask yourself, who am I serving? Because different people have different needs. Alright? So you can carve out the problem your business will solve to the extent that you want to solve the problem. You must sit down and you must be see when you are setting these goals, you must be very realistic. The challenge with many of us is that we are realistic. We keep saying, by the special grace of God, God willing, by the power and the might of God Most High. Don't do that. You are already a believer this is not a religious setting, so I may not say some things. I'm a person of faith. I believe in God. I don't know who and who is here today, but whatever it is that you believe in, I believe that you have already done your homework with that person or the spirit that you serve. Because truth is, I digress a bit, spirits rule this realm. Whether you agree or not, spirits rule this realm. So if you are not serving a spirit, then you are serving a spirit, whether you know it or not. All right. So, but my point is, settle that in your house. Okay, settle that at home. But see, when you sit down in your business meeting, in your management meeting, let's be very clear with each other. Okay, so sit down and ask your people, ask your team, who are we serving? So for example, for us here, we decided that for this business where we're seated today, studio spaces, our event spaces, we want to serve. First of all, you see that it already has a size. So we're not serving people who want to do an event that is going to seat 200 people and above. So if you want to do 200 people and above, you have to probably we have another space. It can seat 1,000 people. Go get that space. Okay? That's already you defining who you are serving. You can also understand the science of making real money. Making sure that in your phone, every day you're getting an alert. You know, I was watching something funny. It was a joke. I think the guy's a comedian, but he said something that many of you are sharing the jobs that you do. If I call you here and I ask you, what job do you do? You tell me, I'm an accountant. You tell me, I'm a nurse. You tell me, I'm a lecturer. But the lifestyle that I see you guys, live, that's not the lifestyle of a lecturer. I beg, tell me how you take them make money. I beg, tell me how you take them make money. Because I've begun to start seeing that that's not how you make money. Lecturers don't live in these kinds of houses. How you take them make money? So he said, I'm going to stop asking people, what is your occupation? I'm going to ask you how you take them make money. Tell me. Okay? So how do you make money? You see, let me tell you, I'm sorry, but I can tell you because I'm a businesswoman. A lot of people are not really making money. They're living false lives. They don't have money in their accounts. How you know they don't have money is when there's a real emergency. There's no money in their accounts. But if there's a party, they can show up. They wear expensive jewelries and they drive big cars. Okay? They wear very, high quality clothes. Right? But when you demand for 2 million for something very, very urgent and something very important, they cannot bring it out. So that's when you realize that money and impression are entirely different things. Is someone following me? They are entirely different things. So how do you make money? You have to think as a businessman. When you have understood and agreed on who you are serving, you have to sit down also and strategize on how you will monetize your business. Many of us are doing businesses for fun. You see that anybody call you, say, I beg, madam, come now, we want you to buy, or yeah, come and buy. How much are you saying? How do you want to make this money? Services, solutions, business, what is it? And think about how to make money in more than one way. That's another area rather, many of us are not doing very great. Hi to everyone that is just coming. We may not be able to take introductions maybe towards the end, but you're welcome. And this is Sustainability Lab, organized by Shield Africa. My name is Ose. I'm the CEO of Shield Africa. You're welcome. All right, so we'll just continue. Okay, so how do you make money? Have you thought about services? Have you thought about solutions? And have you thought about providing these things to your customers in more than one way? Please write that down. In more than one way. And if you can't think of any good ways, go and join business groups. That's why we have groups like this. Let's start to think about how do we want to make money. See, until, like I told you before, until alerts start hitting your account, you can start with every week. You can say, okay, at least on a weekly basis, I must have one alert for my business. But then as you begin to grow it, you can say, okay, no day can pass without me getting an alert. Money must come in. And then you can also say, as you grow the business, you'll get to a point where you start saying no hour can pass without me getting an alert from this company. That is, you are intentionally making sure that money is coming. Otherwise, let me tell you what many of us will be doing. You'll just be catering to, you become a charity organization. I tell people doing business, if you want to do charity, okay, do charity. If you want to do business, have a structure. People may not like you, but do business. Of course, as a business, you can be charitable because every business, because of my background in sustainability, every business must also understand that there are different capitals. There's social capital that you have to build. Okay, there's actual money capital, but in building social capital, sometimes you have to be socially good, meaning that you may not necessarily take money or sell a product. You may have to help people to build that social capital. These are all sustainability strategies every business must employ. Okay, we'll talk more about revenue streams when maybe we have our one-on-ones and I understand in depth the nature of what you do, because it's a very sensitive area. Because we are a larger group, I may not be able to speak on, tell you one-on-one how you should make money, okay? But the way to make money is very simple. Let me give an example of, your name is Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel said he has a fish farm, okay? What's the capacity of a fish farm? 2,000, okay. So he has a 2,000 fish farm. It's not every day you now carry 2 fish. Go and make pepper soup for me. Bless, I just the hungry. I want your pepper soup. Anybody that comes to your farm, take pepper soup. Take fish. Take fish. You are just dashing fish. A time will come, let me tell you what will happen. Even your staff, in your absence, will start dashing fish on your behalf. They would say, boss, they always they dash fish. So anybody come, you say, boss not there, but we know say take fish. When it's time to harvest, guess how many you have? 20. Oh, I'm even better than Mrs. Soyelade. She said 5. Yes. You will have 20. But guess how much will come? Maybe one piece is about 700 naira. Okay, 700 times 10, 7,000. Then 14,000. And if you are doing 2,000 capacity, you would have spent over 1,000,000, 1.5 million feeding that fish. Even 2 million with the price of fish, of feeds that's been spent now, because we also have fish farms. So you would have spent up to that amount, but you are making how much? 14,000. But because we're in Africa and we know, say, if they come my store, I not dash them fish, they go vex for me. You now dash them and you are not calculating your losses. That's why I told you, it's not, if you want to do charity, do charity. If you want to do a business, do a proper business. I'm not saying don't give out some of your products for free, but you have to charge according to the expenses that you're putting in and make sure that you're making real money out of it. I told you another thing you can do is setting KPIs for yourself in such a way that you tell yourself, if I'm not getting an alert on my phone every day, there's a problem. Immediately you know how to capture your audience. I told you, capture, that word capture, underline it, because you have to capture different classes of audience based on the extent you have decided your business is going to go or your business is going to serve. So if you are not getting the alerts, you have to find a way. If you have to put in more adverts, if you have to do more work in marketing, you have to find a way. If you are not seeing sales, don't rest. Okay? Number 3, cost structure. We are going deeper now, because we're talking about building a resilient business model. Cost structure. It is what that is actually asking. You see, as I'm just speaking to you now, I just got an alert. Okay. No, I'm telling you, that's what we mean by how you say they make money. See, you are looking at me as pastor's wife. That's the problem. I have done business for long. Okay, I'm just blessed to be a minister's wife. But I understand what it means to run a business. I was trained by some of the most successful businessmen in this continent. I know how to make money. So I'm telling you, I may not tell you everything, because I don't sell crayfish. I don't sell many things. I set up a premium business. And so I know how much we have to make to be able to run this. So what am I saying? Set a target and just say, okay, if I'm not making, then let's do more adverts. Let's do more ads. Let's go out. If you have to go out, if, for example, the fish, you saw how we package that fish, if you have to do salted fish, if you have to do healthy fish, whatever you have to do to serve a varied category of people, then we do it. You get me? Okay, so the next thing is the cost structure. The question you're asking yourself under the cost structure is, what does it take to operate? My note here, I wrote out something about unit costs. And there, I think many of us, especially micro businesses, we're not intentionally calculating unit cost. Some of you, if I ask you, if you're a tailor, okay, and you make a dress, and in that production, you probably made 7 dresses. And I ask you, what is the cost of producing one dress? You may not be able to tell me. You just say, Sha, I bought, you just use Sha to cover it, right? I bought thread. I had one thread from before. You can't really calculate it. You must be able to do an estimation. So, for example, you bought X color of thread that should last X number of clothes, depending on the style. Okay, now I've made XYZ black dresses. So that way you calculate even to the thread, to the material, to the measurements, to the buttons, to the zip. And then even if you made 10, even if you made 12, you can just simply divide it by the number of work you've done and just get a unit cost. But always make an effort to get a unit cost. It's that way you really know. Mr. Prince is not here, but something happened yesterday. So I told you that we have our Farmers Academy graduation on Saturday. He showed me what we did yesterday when they brought the whole report to me at the office. I said, fantastic. How much did we spend on this particular project this year? The report showed the total amount. The first question I asked him, I didn't just say, oh, good, 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 good. I said, beautiful. So how many, I think this particular graduation is for the fish farming students, right? So I said, okay, for the fish farming students, how many fish did we buy? They told me. How many fish, how many percent survival rate? They told me. I said, fine. This is the total. Now, divide it. I need to know the cost of production for one fish. I want to understand my economics of production. And they were looking at me like, I said, yes. So when they did the numbers, I said, fine. Now, what is the cost of one fish in the normal market? And they told me. So I said, good. So can you now see, from this, can you now estimate if the cost is too high or too low? Many small, you see that small rundown I did? Many small businesses are not doing it yet. So that's where you don't even know if you've made money or not. Because note that an alert in your phone is not necessarily you making money. What is the cost of production? And what is the cost of production per unit? Per hour? You must break it down to the tiniest unit and understand your actual cost. So you must understand what your cost structure is. What does it take to deliver that service to one customer? Next month, I think we're going to go deeper into this next month, because DM, check your DM. What nonsense. When you see such things, you just know that this person is done that. The way businesses operate, you work with different kinds of clients. So you want to be careful not to put out a price that's not an all size, all one fitting all kind of price. And for that reason, you be careful so that you are able to give the right price to. When a business does that, you give the air of there's something fishy, there's something shady about what you're doing. I would rather suggest to you, as a business man or woman, that make your categories of products. Make your categories of products and shade it on the internet. I hope you understand what I mean by shade. Just price for this. And even if you're not putting the price on the products they've done, which is just put out a product, maybe make a video, then be ready to put your price in the caption. Be ready to answer every comment when they say how much. You see some really, like the product is really nice. But how do you expect people to now come to your DM and start saying, please, I saw your post in this and that. I'm here in your DM. Now tell me how much. Especially because they are writing and you're saying in your DM, and they will now add ma. There's a lot of use of ma and sa in Africa. We use ma with your DM ma and your DM sa. No, don't do that. Just write the price. Let people decide if engineering. Okay? There are people who come to engineering. Okay? There are people who come to do live recordings, and they are really depending on the expertise of your sound engineer to deliver seamless, in technical terms, multi-tracking, so that they'll be able to have a seamless, in technical terms, post-production. If in your own business you make clothes, I'm going to use the example of clothes again, and you know that cutting a cloth is the key aspect of the production that will determine how the cloth comes out at the end, and you leave it to your apprentice, you may have a lot of problems because your clients may not come back to you. So it's either you spend the money to get an expert to handle it. And in our case, for example, the sound engineering will have to get an expert to handle it, or you do it yourself if you're an expert. our specialist who is both an architect and many amazing things here, for example, is not scientific when it comes to the IVF process. So I believe that in their own healthcare establishment, she's going to have to get an expert. She's going to have to get a team of doctors that can carry out the entire IVF process. But you're not just going to give it to an apprentice doctor. In fact, it can't work. Okay, so my point here is you need to understand what your key resources, who your key resources are, and of course what, because resources are both people, they are both money, it's both assets, can be land. They say land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. These are the capital, the factors of production. All right. So you should ensure that those key resources are handled by competent people. They are available, and the key activities. What are those activities? Let's say in your day-to-day activities that are that cannot be left to anyone. So you sit down and understand who's going to handle it. Ranging from even your reception. Some people leave careless people in their reception. If you want to build a resilient business, the people you put on the desk, the front desk, in customer care, they matter a lot. I'll give an example. One day I was buying a product, okay, and I spent quite a lot of money in that purchase. Okay, I spent quite some money in that purchase, and one or two of the equipment I bought were not working well. So I called the company. I know the company well. So, but they still need you somehow to call their customer care. So I called customer care to explain that personalized service. They are not just reading a script, but they are able to diagnose from every conversation what the problem is and provide a solution that addresses that customer's real want or that customer's real problem. Because what the lady did when I called, she kept saying, this is noted, ma. Please be advised that you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. I said, you're not listening to me. Very well noted, ma. Please be advised that you have to. She was talking like it was AI, like it was programmed. I said, you're not getting me. I said, this thing is not working. Please be advised that if the equipment is not working, ma, you have to channel it to this. At the point, I said, are you listening to me? Yes, ma, I'm listening to you. I said, then why are you talking to me like you're reading a script? I just need you to. I said, I just need you to get. I think there's a number that they need for the process, and I said, I can't get the number because I don't know. Okay, where do you want me to? She said, there is a certain number you have to get for us. I said, okay, where do you want me to get the number from? Can you check your system there for the number, or is a number? Where is the number? She now said, please be advised that without providing the number, we cannot help you. I said, so where can I check? I said, so advise me, where can I check for the number? Yes, ma, please be advised that the number is very important for what we need. If you cannot provide the number, we will not be. That's why I now said, are you listening to me? I now said, you are speaking like you are a robot. You are speaking like you are reading a script. Where can I find this number? Sorry, ma, we'll not be able to help you. I just ended the call. Then I had to call the owner of the head of the whole operation in Abuja, and I said, you need to train your people better. I said, your staff cannot answer my question on where can I find this number. The man just said, I'm so sorry. Please open your receipt. Look at the right side of your receipt. It's so. It usually starts from A, B, C. I said, that's all I've been asking for since morning. Let me tell you why the so-called customer care may not have been able to answer me. It's not that she didn't want to answer me. She was probably an apprentice. They were trying out on something, or she's not received the requisite training to deliver that value to clients. Please don't make that mistake. If you want to handle customers by yourself, don't be too busy. Because let me tell you something, building a resilient business model would require you to spend time on the business. Even people like Elon Musk spent time building the solutions. And in the days of testing, in the days of trials of the different models or whatever it is they were doing, these people tried it out by themselves. They made sales by themselves. They attended business meetings to close deals by themselves. So please, and these guys are running deals in billions and trillions of USD. You are doing a micro business. Why are you so busy? Is someone listening? Why are you too busy? So in terms of your key resources and activities, please, CEOs and founders, be part of the key resources, because nobody understands your business like you. And nobody understands your business more than you. And nobody can own your business more than you. And that's why in the aspect of key resources and activities, please teach your staff ownership. Because if your staff do not understand ownership, they cannot speak for you. You know why? If they lose a customer, they don't care. Provided they get paid their salaries, they don't care. And that's why you see that, unfortunately, in some businesses, people in front desk just treat customers anyhow. You see, even in flight agents, I've been reading so many terrible reports about airlines, about their ground staff, about their air hostesses who just talk to people anyhow because they don't care. But you know what will happen? Don't think that people cannot leave a business. So don't think that people cannot stop patronizing a business. Don't think that you've grown to that extent, because no matter how big you are, even if you are an airline and people keep talking down on your business, guess what will happen? A time will come. Your business will first of all start by becoming second choice. That's where it starts from. You'll be saying, I beg, if they don't book, that's what the customer care person will say. If they don't book, another person will book. Then you, in your high horse, as CEO or as founder, you are there, and somehow you're still receiving sales reports, and you feel that the Nigerian system is so messed up that even if you people do anyhow, you will still get clients. But guess what will happen? Gradually, people will start leaving your business. They will start patronizing another airline, the ones that are known for being punctual. People are not rushing anywhere. Guess what? On those days, you will lose money. Yes, you will lose money, because the other people who keep to time and great customer care, great customer service, their planes will be filled. You will have to travel with half people in the plane. That's you already losing money. So please, please, and please, from the micro level, from the small and medium scale level, pay attention to your key resources. And if you're still building your team of key resources, please be one of the key resources so that you can have your eyes on the business. Most businesses fail because their owners are too busy. Be part of it. It's not insecurity. People think that, madam, allow your staff now. Why are you there? It's not fear. It's not fear. It's not insecurity. You're building a system, and you need to show the people how it's done. One of my mentors who trained me in business told me something about 8 years ago. He called me one day. I think he was living in Lagos, but he traveled to Abuja for something. And he called me and he said, I'm in Abuja, come and see me. Let's have a meeting, because I don't get to see him all the time. So because of that, I said, then come and see me. I'm at that reception in the Transcorp. So he said, come and sit and give me a report. Let's understand what you're doing. When I was leaving, he called me back and he said, let me tell you something. If you ever get to build a business, don't give out a responsibility that you have no competence to handle. Give it out because you just want to help people get jobs. You want to, help their families, help their lives, and of course delegate, because you can't do everything. But make sure that you can do it. Even if it is mopping the floor. My mentor told me that. Even if it is mopping the floor, make sure, if you are ever going to start a business, make sure you can do these things. He said because people are funny. This is somebody who has done who has done, of course, and is still doing a multi-billion-dollar business across different countries. And he's the one telling me this. He said, make sure you can do it. Because people will fail you. If they know you have no competence to handle it, one day they will just give excuses and they will leave you. Even if you first of all started by having the money for the business, learn the ropes of the business. If some of you don't know farming, but you have money for farming and you got experts, learn how to farm it. Oh, you are not a chef, but you opened a cooking company and they are baking bread for you, making cake for you. Learn how to make the cake by yourself. Okay? Learn it. Know how to do it. Like I said, be part of the key resources. Okay. Next slide. We're now rushing so that we can finish quickly. Revenue diversification systems. We're talking about building a resilient business. We're talking about building a resilient business model. Revenue diversification systems are structured strategies and mechanisms an organization uses to generate income from multiple sources instead of relying on just one primary stream. Mrs. Oyelade, I'll see you some other time. I hope you left your contact details. We'll be in touch. Thank you. All right. So your business model must capture how to, underline the word, strategically, okay? Strategically generate income. I told you when we started earlier, when we were introducing ourselves, I said this is Shield Africa. I told you how we started, and then I let you in on the 3 different businesses. Those of you who have been following our stories, I let you in on the 3 businesses that we diversified into, and you already know us by now. Those of you who have I think many of us here have worked together, for a long time. Okay, so you understand why we did it, and the reason is simple. We don't want to depend on aid. We don't want to depend on family income, friends' income. I'm waiting for my family to contribute money and give me for business, or to give me to fund people. Okay, I want to be able to help people through the non-profit, but I also want to make sure that stream is never dry. It's very simple. Diversify your revenue. Whatever you have, diversify it. Okay, now this is a must to be captured in your business model design. So when you're designing your business model, you must understand how we want to capture revenue. Why is it important to have a revenue diversification strategy? Because one stream cannot give you money every day. Those people who are doing real estate, you can't get money every day. I'm looking at one person. One person here who does real estate very well. Okay, so you can't get money every day. Why? Real estate is a bit, it's very capital intense. So, and unfortunately, Nigeria is in a very interesting state right now, economically. People are just looking for food to eat. They love the idea of investment. They want to build houses. They want to build land. Okay? But because you're looking for food to eat, when you tell somebody, come and buy land, come and buy house, they'll say, me will never chop. That's the first thing they'll say to you. Me will never chop. Now, while the real estate company is, of course, let me tell you, real estate guys, they also have like very big projects that they do. Okay, but while that is happening, it's good to say, okay, what will give us money every day? One of the businesses I worked for, one of the multinationals I worked for, I loved their own business model because they had investments in almost every sector. Okay, they had, so I even gave with my notes here, I even wrote an example of what they do. So if you're buying building materials, they're one of the makers of gum, this bond that you use to maybe put wood together, but they don't make sales every day. No, those are very large guys, so of course they make sales every day, but typically people don't need bonds every day. But guess what? They're also heavily into the agriculture sector. You need food every day. If you feed me today, you will still need to eat tomorrow. Okay? I usually usually just give my children food. As they came back from school today, mommy, rice. Once they're hungry, every food is actually called rice, whether it's pounded yam or beans, you just call it. But they're just telling you, I'm hungry, give me food. So my son when he came back today, he was scribbling on a book. After a while, I just said, mommy, rice. That rice is go and bring food. And that's why no matter the business you are doing, please, you are into agriculture. Because you will make money every day. You will feed. People need to feed every day. Okay? So you can, agriculture in whatever form, you can be selling actual food, like finished food, okay, and be eating. You know, someone amongst us has one of the most established wives, one of the most established chefs as his wife. So people eat, the person is looking away as if he's not the one I'm talking to, but he's actually the one I'm speaking to. But anyway, he has his wife is very established, you know, very established chefs. And people are calling her every day. Please, we're hungry. Can you make this for me? Can you make that for me? People will need to eat every day. So food business is easily one of the best businesses to diversify into if you are looking for regular streams of income. Okay? So do not rely on one primary system. A single business model or a single, let's say, single focused business model will be strained, because it's like all the money you need has to come from there. Even let me also give you one thing. Even I like what's happening now with today's youths. People are doing like 3 jobs. You know, those days it was never a thing. In the days of our parents, they were just working in their government jobs, and that was it. But today I love how people have jobs, and even on the days they are not working, some people actually have like day jobs and night jobs. They go find these remote jobs that you can do at night. Maybe you're working for a country that has a different time zone to yours, maybe like Australia, that is a different time zone. And when people are sleeping, you're working. That's a good way for diversification of business, of your expertise, so that you can get money, from the 2 different streams. However, I wrote a note here. Notice that, however, for a micro and small scale business, diversification is advised to be strategic and aligned with your core business. You've not yet reached a level in your business where you have all the money to make mistakes. And if you don't want to make mistakes, make sure that if you choose to diversify, you are doing it very strategically. So you have to ask yourself, what's my core business model? If I want to diversify, can I do it around what I am already doing instead of going to a brand new sector? Let me give you an example. Our real estate guy who is here, says to say hi. Okay, so our real estate guy who is here, let's say you were only selling houses. Only. You can decide to say, okay, I want daily money. Okay, so let me add rentals. That's you not leaving your sector completely. You are in your sector, but you are venturing into another aspect of your sector. So if you have rentals, what will happen is that every day you're able to really do the hard work and get many, many, many houses for rent. So every day you're going to have people calling you, oh, I saw this house, I want to view it. And nowadays they add this yes, it's inspection. Yeah, they call it inspection fee. So every day you can make, maybe if you say, oh, inspection fee is 20,000 naira, and you get to show 4 people. Okay, you may not take 20,000 from everyone. Maybe for some people you are nice. So worst case, you may just make 50K. And then maybe that day you didn't sell land, but you've made 50,000. And maybe on Friday, one land you're able to sell, or one house you're able to sell, and some of the percentage you are able to get it. You can now make maybe 3 million naira from sales, but from rental you made 50,000 naira. While you're waiting for that big 3 million naira, you can at least use 50K for buying your transport, pay your transport, buy fuel, buy food items, buy things for the children. That's what we mean by diversification, and specifically not going too far from where you're already invested in. So I want you all to take some time, think about what you do individually, and ask yourself, without going too far. Of course, going far is another way to it, but you need capital and you need experience. If you don't have experience, you're going to need to hire someone, and that too is capital intensive, because if you're going to hire an expert, you need to pay well for it. So if you're not very equipped with all of that yet, then you need to look for a segment that is just not too far from where you already are, and do something in that regard. Okay? So just take a minute, okay? Think very well. What am I doing? And I think I'll just, I don't know if it's a good thing to do, because I wanted some of you to share what you want to do, but sometimes when it comes to businesses, you want to keep your idea so that no one is not compromised. So I may not ask you in the public gathering, but maybe for the one-on-one consultation session, you will have to talk about what you are thinking of doing. Because you see, this economy we're in, a volatile economy like this, an unpredictable one, you can't rely on one source of income. You can't. So think about your current business model and ask yourself, what else can we do? So for example, you're making food, you're just cooking food, and you majorly serve cooked food. You can start adding raw rice, raw gari, buy bags of gari. People are selling Ijebu gari in 1 kg. I'm making so much money from it. So you can choose to do that. You can be in core farming. You can take some money and do what he's doing. Buy that business anyway is capital intensive, because you need to not just do that. You need to invest in transport. You need to invest in warehousing. And you need to invest in, there's another aspect of managing the LBs. It's very technical. But anyway, you can choose to do it in a small scale, right? You can buy, like I said, buy big bag of gari, buy small nylons, label them, and then put your own Ijebu gari inside and sell. But you were selling cooked food before, all right? You can even add pastries. Someone was here saying she bakes very well. Who was that? Yeah, it was Confidence. She said she. How do you know her? Okay, I thought you, because you were here when she mentioned her name. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, so she said she makes snacks. You can. It's okay now. Yes. Okay. So she said she makes snacks. You can now add snacks to cooked food. Are you seeing that you are still in the food sector, but you are doing different things? So if you don't make money from cooked food today, you will make money from raw food. If you don't make money from raw food, you make money from pastries. Okay, so you are diversifying, but you're still within one circle. So your capital is not too much. Okay, all right. So that's one thing. Do not go too far. You have to be very, very, very strategic, because you don't need to source for loans or source for extra capital. Now, we already told you how to do that. Let's move on, please. Competitive advantage in emerging markets. Your business model must include your advantage. We're talking about building a resilient business model. The next important point is your competitive advantage. Note that in a heavily saturated market like Nigeria, competitive advantage, meaning, what do I mean by that? I'm just simply asking you, what is the edge that you have over every other player in that sector? That's simply what I mean by competitive advantage. So, in a market like Nigeria, your competitive advantage is built on resilience, on relevance, and trust. You see those 3 words? Don't joke with it. Resilience meaning, how do you come out of tough times? How quickly can you snap out of tough times? Okay? I gave you example of COVID-19. I told you, guys, don't worry. I told you I'm going to send you the slides, okay? And please, for those that are online, how many people do we have online? Just let me know. For those that are online, you can also drop your email. I hope we have an online experience manager. 90 people. Wow, that's a lot. I was not expecting a lot of people. including Chairman is on the session. Okay, so I was not expecting a lot of people, but for those of you online, please leave your emails so that our online experience managers can take your emails, and we're going to send you the slides for the session, so that because we intentionally decided to live stream today so that we can have our people that are not in Abuja experience this training also. So please leave your emails in the comment section, and we will reach you individually. Okay, so we were saying, underline the 3 words: resilience, relevance, and trust. I told you already in very simple terms. Resilience is looking at how quickly you can snap out of every challenge. Look at COVID-19. I told you many businesses went down with COVID-19. They never came out of it. But there were businesses who came out stronger than before. Okay? So that's very important in how you build your competitive advantage. Number 2 is relevance. Can you ensure that in building your business model, you continue to scale in such a way that you never go obsolete? People still, how is Coca-Cola still relevant after decades? The same taste. I told you about digital marketing. We're going to look at that. But digital marketing, there are other factors, but let me touch on digital marketing for a few seconds. It is one key way of staying relevant. Because if you stay consistently in the eyes of people, we live in a what? Psychological world. We live in a world of humans. And so if you're consistently in the eyes of people, even if they never took it for granted, over time, they begin to take your products more seriously because you've stayed there consistently. And you can only build that level of relevance through what? Digital marketing. And so, if you want to build a competitive edge, continue to build for relevance. I may have to prepare a separate lecture on how to do that, because that in itself is a lecture on its own. So, but team, please take note of that. We may have to do a separate session on that. And the next is trust. I tell people, especially if you're in healthcare, it's more important to have people trust you, okay, than anything else. And this is now no more for healthcare, this is for everybody. Don't focus on the money, on the cost of your service. I would advise you to start trying to build trust first. See, when you are able to build trust over the years, even when you increase the price of your product or service, people will still buy. Do you know? Is that true? People will still buy from you. But many of us are making the mistake of putting price above trust. A time will come, if your product is too expensive, people will start asking, what is he even selling that I'm paying this amount of money for? And the next thing you hear is, I beg. And once they start getting tired like that, they never come back. And then gradually, they begin to see someone else who is giving them the same products for better pricing. And somehow, they're able to trust that person more. People are going to be willing to pay anything for anything they trust. In whatever sector, especially in food, in healthcare. Anyone who chooses to give you their body for a surgery, to say, okay, I want to perform, I need this surgery, maybe appendectomy, fibroid surgery, knee replacement surgery, hip and bone replacement surgery, back surgery, brain surgery, all those kinds of surgery. If they don't trust you, they will be afraid because they're scared of dying in a surgical process. So trust is very important if you want to build an edge in your sector. See, trust goes beyond just the quality of what. No, Trust goes beyond just the products, rather. That's what I was going to say. It's more about the quality of what you're giving. Let it be that this client says, if this guy sews my cloth, I'm sure I will not need an adjustment. Do you know there are tailors like that? If they make your clothes, you will not need an adjustment. That is another level of trust people have in you. If this guy cleans my house, I will know that I will not need to point out a dirty spot to him. If this person drives my vehicle, I know that my vehicle, my brake pad will not wear off. That's another level of trust. If this person cooks my food, this person knows how I like my food. That's another level of trust. So in your different businesses, you're an accountant. Mr. Jala here is in share processing. He's a fish farmer. She's a broadcaster. You are in law, politics, and social work. You are in public health. You are a dietitian. You are an IT personnel. You are a farmer. You are going into food. Yes, and he's a fashion designer. He's a real estate person, and the rest of the people that we have. I'm going to meet you later to know what you. We'll talk later to know what you all do. Okay, but in all that you do, if you can ensure trust, his own area is very particular, because I understand a lot about share, and a lot of people use it for cosmetics and medications, chocolates too. Yeah, as CBE, thank you. Chocolate butter equivalent. Okay, so people use it for CBE. They need, in fact, there is a level of certification that he may need to get, and that is what will make them trust that shea butter above every other shea butter you're buying. It's all based on trust. They want to be able to know that if we put the CBE into, we put the butter, into the chocolate that we are making, then we will not have maybe peanut infestation and many, many, many other things inside of this chocolate. So trust is needed there. Okay? Let's proceed because of time. So the key drivers. One, how do you build that competitive advantage? One, you must have a deep understanding of local problems. When you see an expert handling a problem, you know. When you see a novice handling a problem, you also know. It's obvious usually, right? So the businesses that win in emerging markets, they are not the most sophisticated. They are the ones who know the problem and the ones who provide the solutions that are relevant, okay, to the problem. So you must, in becoming an expert, in developing a competitive advantage, you must have a deep understanding of your sectors. Please, do not play at surface level. Go deep. When I was building my experience in agribusiness, I would spend months. You see, Bida, I stayed in Bida for 6 months, understanding the share value chain. I stayed in Ekiti, Oyo, Akure, Edo for a total of 8 months, understanding cocoa. You must stay on the ground. If you're speaking Nupe now, because that's the region, Niger State has the 50% of Nigeria's share in it. If you're speaking Nupe now, I can understand. Because I didn't just sit down trying to understand the product. I had to become culturally sensitive. I had to start interfacing with the locals. You see, when you're building a deep understanding of local problems, don't just understand the products. Understand the people who make them. Do you get me? Understand their problems. And that's where, when we're talking about doing social good, you will, even from your business model, create a service for them. That way, they help you even secure your products, your business, your compound. Have you not seen farms and establishments where they will tell you, oh, they came and they raided all these places, but they didn't touch that place. Why? He's the one that is feeding their children. He has one scholarship programs, and that company, they are helping to fund their village children in school. That's how to have and build deep understanding of local problems. Be very connected to the locals. Be very connected to the segment that you are trying to make your impact in. Very important. Number 2, in building a competitive advantage, you must have cost efficiency. You must ensure, rather, cost efficiency. In many industries and sectors, customers are price sensitive. As much as you are building quality, you must make sure that you are managing costs so that your pricing can be fair. Of course, I know that people who cater to premium customers. You don't cater to everybody. There are people who come to meet us here, for example. The staff will tell me, oh, we had someone who called and asked if we can give this service for X amount. And I'll be like, we don't give discounts. In managing our costs, we just ensure to put all the, costs together. And that's how we put the pricing. And we take our time to explain to you why it's that way. So, customers are very sensitive to prices. So make sure that in your costing, you are very careful. So that even if you are not catering to every class of customer, the class of customer you are called to cater to, you are catering to them efficiently. It's very important. Okay, strong relationships. You see, in Africa, businesses is not only transactional, it is also relational. In fact, Africa is a place where a huge business deal worth trillions of dollars can be sealed on a dinner table. You just have big men sit down and say, let's eat pounded yam together this evening. Oh, my brother, is that your daughter? Is that your wife? Is that your son? Is that your, oh, wonderful, wonderful, my dear. How are you? Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, you see this business? Oh, it's fine. Oh, they will just make one call. You know what? Mr. This will come and see you tomorrow morning and give them. And if you check the value of that transaction, it's $10 billion. But it's sealed. So you see, in Africa, don't joke with relationship. But guess what? Not only in Africa, in the whole of the world. Even in the US, even in Asia, everywhere you go, do not joke with relationships, because people do business with people that they know and people that they trust. So you see, in your business, know who is who. Pay your dues. Pay in full. Keep in touch. Check on people. Organize hangouts. Network. Mix with people. Offer value. Know your boundaries. You see those words? I hope you know I'm playing, but I'm saying strong things. So know your boundaries. Because you see, even that market that he's playing in now is a sensitive market. If you go into the sector and you say, I came to buy share, they'll say, welcome. They'll be watching you. Even in the real estate sector, you can't just enter. Most of these sectors, you can't just enter. Even in healthcare, you have to know who is. Even in politics is a business now, right? You just enter. You have to know who is who. Who are the people running the show, in quotes, here. If you don't do that, I'm just using a sector because it's a very... Yes. You go into the place and you will be frustrated. They will tell you, come and we will sell to you tomorrow. You get it. Somebody will go and meet them in the net and say, if you sell to that person, and you'll be shocked that you have money. It's not like you don't have money to buy. You have money to buy, but nobody's selling to you. You also do grains business, right? Nobody's selling to you. Because you see, this business we do in the world, it ties on relationships. Somebody will be holding it and say, I would like give you, but my hands are tied. And once they give you that sentence, my hands are tied, they can't give you, they can't sell. So build very good relationships so that business will be easy for you. And let me tell you, in Africa, it can be very dicey sometimes, and it can be very complicated. But it's very possible to do business seamlessly and have good relationships. We thrive on respect here a lot. In Africa, if you're building a business, show respect to who you need to show respect to. But please, don't allow intimidation. we'll talk more about this as you build stronger business. Many of you are still doing MSME, so there's no threat. When you start diving into deeper waters, we may talk about that aspect of what I wanted to talk about. But let's leave it for now, okay? Okay. And if you think your business has reached where you really need that level of advice, let's have a separate conversation. All right, so adaptability is the last component of building a resilient or a competitive advantageous business. Change is constant in any market, so you must learn to adapt. Otherwise, you will struggle. Before, you needed to rent a shop, take your products to a shop, shade or display, and people come there and buy. That was all. But today, if you're not online, no one may find you. So it's even possible today to not have a shop at all, but you're selling varied services and products, and that has only been made possible through the internet. And if there were businesses who only display their products in a store that did not quickly adapt, okay, to digitalizing their operations and including their marketing processes online, they will still be struggling by now. So that's why you must quickly adapt. Not just adapting, but quickly adapt. Because the people who thrive in business are the people who move with speed. And who do so consistently. Very important. Next slide. Okay, we were going to talk about cost. I told you that circular economy was just one slide. This is another unique aspect, but I'll just run through it very quickly. So circular economy thinking for SMEs. This is why your business must have circular economy thinking in it. It's a concept that teaches you to run your business in a way that minimizes waste. Who was talking about wasted? It was Barrister? It was you? Talking about wasted clothes and all of that. Yes. So you need to run your business in a way that you avoid wasting resources, wasting things, managing waste. Okay, it's very important. So traditionally, the model is you buy, you produce, you sell, and there's a waste and you discard. But in a circular economy, what that requires you to do is that you buy, you produce, you use, you reuse, you recover, you create, you recreate value. There's no wastage anymore. So whatever is, for example, many of you now in your farms, before, whatever dumpings come from the poultry, you just throw it away. But now, you reuse. People are selling it now. People sell the feathers in their poultry. There's no waste anymore. And that's just the basics of circular economy. Okay? So we will deep dive in our next session where we're talking deeper on that concept. But let's move on. Risk anticipation in business design. Okay. This is very important. So let's focus a bit on it. Your business model must include risk anticipation. Many of us, like I told you earlier in the class, earlier in the lab session, that when we want to venture into a business, we're doing so, in quotes, by the special grace of Almighty God. The special grace of Almighty God will always be in operation. But if you do not factor every possible risk that could go wrong with your business, things will go wrong, but the special grace of Almighty God will still be in existence. It will never fail. Okay? But your business will sink. Someone else will take over, and that person is still enjoying the grace of Almighty God as you are. But your business will sink. Okay? So your business model must include what we call risk anticipation. A sustainable business does not wait for problems before they react. You must be proactive and not reactive. You design your business with risks in mind. And the different types of risks. Number one, the economic risk. You are looking at issues like inflations. You are looking at issues like currency instability, cost instability, and we're looking at the issue of raw materials increasing suddenly, the value of the currency is dropping, transportation cost is rising, energy cost is rising. For example, a business that is importing goods without planning for exchange rate changes is heading for a huge downfall. So when you are designing your model, you must think about the fact that today, dollar can be 1,000 naira. Tomorrow, dollar against the naira can still be 2,000 naira. And these are all economic factors. Okay? Operational risk. So please, before we move on to operational risk, as you start your small businesses, take another few minutes before we move, or few seconds, to internalize what could be the possible economic risks for your own business. Start thinking about it now. What could be? Because again, like I said, it's different. Yours is different from mine, okay? And yours is different from the next person sitting by you. So what could be that economic risk? So that whatever happens, you see. So if, for example, you import equipment, you import machines, maybe you sell to people who process maybe whatever they right. So if you maybe there's a kind of machine you need for some of these things, if you were able to sell at this price and you have sold it, or you are about to sell it, how can you make sure that when it's time to reorder a new one, you have factored that in your business? The number 2 part is operational risk. These are the risks in your day-to-day operations. We're looking at delays in supply, because that's a risk. Delay in logistics, the whole supply chain and internal processes could have some risks. Okay, your equipment can fail. Do you know that you can be working and things will just shut down? And if it shuts down, again, you are going to have delays in delivery, delays in you may even have a reputational risk. Because I'm a sustainability expert. Okay, so sustainability integration check. As you design your business model for sustainability, you must answer and check, of course, for these components of sustainability: environmental, social, governance, ESG. Are we minimizing waste? Are we improving efficiency? And it's not just for your immediate environment. You are thinking of your immediate state. You are even thinking of the future. By the time we get to this level, we are going to be emitting this amount of gases, greenhouse gases. How do we ensure to manage it? So you are thinking even both for now and in the future. So are we minimizing waste? Are we improving efficiency? This is something you have to ask yourself. Number 2, are we fair to employees? That's why internally, you must be very big on policies. Many of us operate without any policies guiding us. For you to be ESG compliant, you must have policies guiding how you operate around it relates to your environment. How do you dispose of your waste? How do you manage environmental issues depending on the environmental risks that your business is likely to face? The second is the social aspect. What are your social policies? Okay, do you have an employee handbook? Do you have a grievance mechanism where if a staff, for example, in your company is complaining of rape, that one of her bosses raped her or attempted to, do you have a policy? Or you just say, go away, you are not serious? No. Do you have a policy for ensuring that, this thing is addressed to its roots, and we ensure that it doesn't happen again? Do you have a system that can protect that person? Or is that person exposed to risk by reporting the culprits? See, a lot of businesses don't have these policies, and that's why even when things go wrong, people are afraid to talk. You only, but guess what? They talk in circles, but they can't. There's no system. All right. So, in terms of in terms of the social aspect, are we fair to employees? Are we fair to our suppliers? Are we fair to our customers? You must have policies that guide these operations and governance. Are our pricing and operations transparent? Can our systems withstand scrutiny? Many of us, you see, that's why if you remember, those of us that started 1 year ago, you remember when many of you told me then that you were doing your business with your personal account. Many of you that started with us, you were building your business with your personal bank account. You want to go and buy materials. It's your full name is Obasi, Vivian, Victoria. You will carry it and you will go and buy raw materials from there. And then when profit comes, you take there from there. When you want to buy crayfish in the evening, you take from there. When you want to pay your child's school fees, you take from there. Many of you, when you were telling me, I was like, what? I told you, I said, the very first assignment that we all have to do today and within the next 1 month before our next sustainability lab is please go and open your business account. I was very impressed. One of the businesses I patronized one of the businesses recently, and I was to send the person money, and when the person sent me the account number, I saw that she had moved from her name to her business name. I was so impressed. I said, we are making progress in our sustainability lab. Please don't do for our newcomers, those of you who have joined us in 2026 cohort, please do not do business with your personal account, because that is the beginning of your business's inability to withstand scrutiny. Because when it's time for audits and they start tracing the accounts, where is money coming from? Where is money going to? Many of us will not be able to present the documents. When you buy products, do you collect receipts for them? Do you file receipts for them? Do you have like a requisition form? Maybe I have to, because I may have to take us through that process again. So, our team in the control room, please take note that we may have to take this new set of people through that whole documentation process for setting up, that you need as you run a sustainability or a sustainable business. So your governance is very important. What policies are your business operations centered on? All right. And as we conclude, sustainability is not built in comfort. If you want to build a sustainable business, a resilient business model, you will not be comfortable for the first couple of years. Because in that time, you will be doing the hard work, the very, very hard work. It is built in design. You have to actually do the work to design it. And if your business model is weak, during growth process, you will be exposed. It's the truth. That's why it's better to do the hard work while you still can, in the early days, when you don't have too many people looking your way. Because if you don't do the hard work, when attention shifts to you because of the impact that you are making, you have no idea how to manage your impact. And that will be the beginning of that business's downfall. So if your business model is strong, growth will reward it. But if your business model is weak, growth will expose it. It's growth. And I know all of us want to grow. So as you're growing, please build businesses that will create value. As you're growing, please build businesses that will reduce waste. As you're growing, please build businesses that will earn trust. And as you're growing, please build businesses that will generate consistent profit. This is an assignment for you all, and we're going to be communicating with you online to get the assignments and to do the assignments together. Please prepare a 2 to 3 paged sustainable business model blueprint. 2 to 3 pages. One, let me see for your micro, small, medium businesses. I want to see your business model structure. Let me see from all your thinking and from this class, I want to see 2 diversified revenue streams that you have decided to include into your structure. I also want to see 3 key risks and how you plan to manage them. Don't stand only on the grace of God. The grace of God will carry you, but the grace of God is requiring you to do the right thing. So think about anything that could go wrong with your business. And let me see how you want to manage them. 1, circular economy or efficiency strategy. And let me see your sustainability integration plan. What do you want to do to integrate environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and governance into your structure? And for those of our people online, please drop your emails. We will send you the slides to the training today, to the session today. And we'll also expect your assignments. We'll also let you know which emails you're sending the email that sends you the slides will be the same email you'll be sending the slides, the assignment back to. And then in the next session, we will be picking some of the great ideas and see how we can just have quick conversations around them. But for now, let me thank you all for joining the session today. I'm going to take only 2 questions so that we can close, because I have another meeting right after now, and many of us need to go because some of us are coming from far away. So I'm going to take just 2 questions. Only 2. So who has 1 question? Yes, Joseph. Please, can Joseph have the microphone?
All right. Thank you so much, Ma, for this powerful teaching today. And you make a point concerning diversifying in your business to stay within
Diversifying, you mean? Okay, yeah.
Still stay within the comfort of what you do,
Yeah.
not leaving it completely.
Yeah, except you have capital. If you have a lot of capital, you can try. Not just capital, sorry. If you have a lot of capital and some strong experience, or at least some experience you can leverage on, you can try to venture far away. But it's always best to attempt to diversify closer to your current segment.
All right. So I think this has explained my question even before I asked them.
What was your question, though?
Because sometimes there are businesses that when you stay within and something affects that sector, you get to lose every other. But if you are in someone,
Lovely.
opposite, even when this gets to stopped, you can now continue from the other aspect of it.
I love how he's thinking. His name is Joseph. I love how he's thinking. I love that he's looking at the fact that, wait, if I pick one sector and I'm just diversifying within the sector, something happens to that sector, everything wipes off. But that's where the whole risk mitigation strategy still comes in. So somehow, even when you have like a diversification across the sector, you can still mitigate the risks despite whatever you are exposed to. Because the truth is, you don't have capital, to go into like a very new venture. So you still have to manage within the confines of where you are. So, but I believe that if you do a good job at doing your risk mitigation strategy, you can quickly salvage something. What is left. Yes. Yeah, what you have. Yes.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Dr. Light. Yeah, Dr. Light. All right. Can we pass the mic to her?
Thank you, Ma, for the section. I've been really a lot of information has been passed, and I'm happy I attended this session. So my question is regarding in a professional body, there are some certifications you need sometimes to be able to work or to show your credibility to clients or prospects that you want to give services to. So, in a situation where you are not yet certified in some areas, is it advisable to start from the certificates you already have, and then as you are growing, you plan to get those additional ones, or you should wait until you have enough capital to maybe do those courses and learn them before you start giving people your services?
Thank you, Dr. Light. I may not be able to give one answer that fits everything because the question you've asked is a very sensitive one, especially because it has to do with certification. If some ventures require certification, it means there's a huge risk that if you don't get the certification, things can go wrong. They have to make sure that you are qualified for that venture before you try it. So it depends on what you're doing. But truth is, if you need certification, my advice would be, even when you are making a trial, don't go too far by giving. You can try it, but please try it with family and friends. That's my advice. Because if you make a mistake and put it out and something goes wrong, you can face a lawsuit, you can get arrested for it, lose the entire business. It can be very bad. So if maybe there's a product that you're trying out, for example, I have a sister who is trying out one or two cosmetic products, and the products are doing very fantastic. They're doing very well, but she has not gone to do some certifications. So it is we, her family members, that are trying it for her to say, okay, let me try it. Even food, even some food items, people are trying out some new, maybe we have some people are doing millet paste, all of those things. So we try it out, but because we know you love us, we know you're not trying to harm us, but the other people outside don't know whether you love them. So it's only your family and friends that you can try it with. So they will help you and try. But while you are seeing the product, the evidence from them, take the pictures, use the reviews they are giving you, okay, and put it out and say, oh, this is what we're getting. Make sure you document it. And then try to start your certification. Then from there, you scale. But please, if you have not certified yourself or your business for that venture, don't try going public. It's risky. And that's a compliance risk. It's more of a compliance risk because anything could go wrong. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, let's check if there's any question online because we have an online audience today. I want to take the questions. Team, please let me know. Do we have any question? Guys online, thank you so much for participating. We appreciate your participation today and would like to know if there are any questions that you have specifically as it relates to what we have treated today. We're looking at sustainable business models and strategic positioning. So based on what we have treated today, do you have any questions? Please let me know if you have any questions. No questions yet. Okay, so we'll give like about a minute just in case build through the sustainability lab. if we have any questions, let them just let's come to the one-on-one coaching session, okay? Because we have to go now. Let me thank you all for joining. Yes, you have a question. Please give her the mic. Yes. For you came in from another state for the lab,
Yes, ma'am.
and when do you go back?
I'll be going back first thing Monday morning.
You want to have a session with me?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll have to have it online since you have to go back on Monday.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. But wait, was she one of the first five to come in today?
I was the second.
The second person. Amazing. Okay, so we can have we speak with her so that we know what to do. Okay, but do we have any more questions? No. Thank you all for coming, and we call it a wrap. Yes. Thank you. We call it a wrap for the month of April. It's been an amazing time with you. And of course, for those of us online, it's our first time streaming the session online. And it was because of a lot of requests that we received from many people who interacted with what we put out there. And they requested to be part of this because many of them were not in Abuja, where we're streaming from. Many of them are not in Nigeria, where we're streaming from. So we also want you to be beneficiaries from our session here today. Thank you for being part of it. I want to wish you a wonderful evening. So thank you all for being part of it. See you next month. We will communicate to you the time and the date of the next session. And for those of you who have one-on-one with myself, please talk with Josh. I think Josh is directly in charge of organizing that. Josh will organize and we'll have our session. And for those of us online, we will have our session with you virtually. Thank you all so much and have a lovely evening. Right. Bye for now.